and welcome back to GCS Machinery. This video is different from every other one I've ever done. Rightly or wrongly, do I show the video? I don't know. I may make myself look very stupid showing this, but I also I might have already made myself look very stupid anyway, so probably nothing to lose. Anyway, as some of you are aware, I have 3 daughters who I don't see. I'd like to see them. I'd love to see them. I'd love to be able to spend time with my daughters, but for lots of reasons they don't particularly want to see me. So that, as much as I'd like to change it, I can't. I have tried. Well, I think I've tried. As a child, my family were never, I think, showed any love through the family. And we always had a very cold childhood, if that makes sense. So I went out doing my own thing, doing stuff, and basically getting out, just work away and get my business built. So from a very early age, I was on my own a lot of the time, doing my own thing. So when I watch other people with their children and dads with their children, it's quite hard because I don't really know how to be a dad. And that's probably, I've gone wrong, I admit that. I've never really been a dad for lots of hugs and because I never had as a child. So I do understand my children have their point of view. I've always tried to provide as best I can. But I look at other people with their children and I just think, that's sweet, but it's just something I've never really known how to do. And that really sounds really stupid. But it's true, absolutely true. I've never really known how to do it. Does it sound stupid? Probably does, I know, sorry, but there you go. Anyway. So, there's a lot of frustrations in my life, and I think I'm going to be very honest now and tell you a little bit of my history. When I was a young kid, 3 or 4 years, I can't remember exactly, my mum and father split up. And I can honestly never remember my mother saying anything good about my dad. Never. And the only memory I've got really were negative thoughts about my dad. And I think as a young boy, I kind of believed everything I was told. Possibly shouldn't have done, but I did. I believed everything I was told. Yeah, anyway. So I never really had anything to do with my father. And I bumped into him again around 18 for a little bit. And then sort of drifted apart again. Anyway, I think I was probably around the age of about 23, and someone once said to me, oh, I'm sorry to hear about your dad. And I'm a bit like, well, what's up with Dad? What's he done? And they were like, well, he's passed away. Did you want to know? No, I didn't know. Wasn't informed. So I went and popped to saw my stepmum, who I'd never met before because I didn't have anything to do with them. I knew where she worked. And I went into a high street shop and I bumped into her. I said, hello, you don't know who I am? She said, oh, I can see who you are. And she said, I said, what's the story with my dad? Why didn't you tell me that he was dying? Because they knew he was dying apparently, and he was in hospital and he was dying. And her words were, I didn't think you'd be interested. And I can understand the logic behind that because I hadn't made any effort. And I was big enough and I did enough at 23 years old to have made an effort to see my dad. Anyway, it wasn't until a few years later that I started to find out things about my dad, that maybe he wasn't the person I thought he was, or the person I'd been led to believe he was. In fact, I think he was totally different to the dad that I thought I had. And so with all of that, my dad was gone. He died not thinking I cared, and in his eyes I didn't, and I hadn't made any effort, and I should have done. So I've lived with that ever since, and that eats away in my head. Okay, that eats away at me that I should have done more. So fast forward to my children. My children don't want to know me. That's fine. As much as would like to change it, every time I've done, I've ended up getting knocked back and told that this, that, and everything else. So all I can see is the history of my children and me is repeating itself. Now, I have to live with that every day, of what my dad, and but I don't want my children to all equally have to live with what I live with every day in the future, because my children are of the belief of lots of things about me, and I don't know half of what they've been told because I can't even get to speak to them or see them and ask them. So it's my ex-partner and my ex-wife have obviously given my children their thoughts. My children have obviously made some of their own minds up as well. But the thing is, in life, if you know, I probably have made mistakes for being a father. I've probably worked far too much doing things, and yes, I've made some mistakes. Okay, hands up, made mistakes. Should have done things differently. But I can't change the past, but I'd like to change the future. Now, it's incredibly hard. Now, I now suffer with mental health issues, okay? I do wobble. If you'd said to me about mental health 5 years ago, I would have told you to man up and get on with it, okay? Because I didn't understand any of it. And I'm not saying now I understand lots of things, but I understand that I struggle, okay? So, with what's going on in my head of that, and I see people out with their children, I see my friends' children achieving things and how proud their parents are. I see people out and about, even see people, you know, at the airport buying their children gifts. And you're just thinking, it would be so nice to be able to do that for my children, okay? I can't, because that's the way things are. And I'm sure I'm not the only father alone in the world doing this. So, all of these things, and now, what I find is that that's in my head all the time, and it eats away. And I think every day you look at people with children, you look at this, you watch things, and you look at social media, and you see how proud people are of their children. And I'm all happy for them, really happy for them. But it still eats away at me now. I don't know how much longer I've got to live. None of us do. We could be gone tomorrow, next week, next year, 10 years. I don't know. And a lot of people try and reassure me that that's fine. Your children will come back one day. And that's really kind and nice words that people say. But I don't know how many more days, one days, any of us have got. So, when you add that in my head, and I do suffer, okay? I do suffer. And then you get other people in this world that, I don't know, just cause problems for you or make issues for you. All these things go. Now, this last weekend, I'll be very truthful with you all watching this, if there is anybody still watching. I have had a really bad weekend and I took myself off because I just couldn't cope with any of it, okay? Now this probably isn't very easy to say, and I really didn't want to go home, and I really didn't want to be on this planet anymore. That's hard to say, hard to admit. It's true, okay? Very true. And people got worried about me, and the police were looking for me. Dear friends of mine were calling me. They all realised I was in trouble. And I have to say, absolutely stunned. I did put a post on social media about my 3 daughters, just saying that, you know, it's a shame. blah, blah, blah. And I was completely overwhelmed by the people that tried to support me. I had friends of mine come and find where I was, and massively helped, massively showing care for me. And for that, I'm really grateful. And it chokes me up thinking about how kind and thick people were. And I think what I'm trying to get to here now is the fact that I was incredibly lucky that there was some real nice people in this world, and there were people even from the YouTube viewers that were messaging me saying, come on, here's my phone number, call me. And you know, you're thinking there's all these strangers want to help you, and yet there are people in your life that really want to see you fail, and really, and those you know, we've just won a recent court case where I was harassed by somebody sending me nasty things through the post and everything else. It's almost like, why in this world are we so cruel to each other? I think there are people out there that like watching people in misery and suffer and strain. So I don't really know where this video is going. I just think that we're all got to desperately try and help each other, because I think life is precious, and if we're not careful, life can be shorter than we intended it to be. And I think the problem I see is when I get to the point where I'm in a real mess, proper mess, all I think about is that in 10 or 15 seconds I can not have to worry anymore. Not have to worry anymore. Which for me would be a big relief somehow. You think that would be a way out, wouldn't it? It's done. But it's not the answer, because we were blessed with life. We were blessed to be put on this earth. We've got to try and make the best of it. So I think we should all start being kinder to each other. We should all start to look after each other and help one another, because I don't think behind the scenes we all put this brave face on of laughter and happiness. I do sometimes. I put it on, but deep down I'm seriously hurting. Seriously hurting. So I think we've all got to try and be kind. We've all got to try and help each other while we still can. Okay? Now, whilst I know this video isn't going to change anything for me, I just hope that maybe people think about it. Maybe people just think that maybe we should be kinder. Maybe we should be just be careful, maybe careful how we word things, because perhaps there is someone there behind a smile who's on the edge. And it happens with me that someone will just make that comment or just that text, and it may be meant with the best intentions, but it just hits that nerve and just trips that thing in your head. Okay? So I think let's all try and be more kind to each other. Let's try and help each other more and be more understanding, because none of us know how much longer we've got. I think we should try and help each other more, I would say. So to all the people out there that have watched this, to all the people that know me, to all the people that I can't thank you enough for the support I've had this weekend. Okay? The amount of people that you say, well, come and stay with us, come and see us, etc., you know, and they're going to really put themselves out for me, you know, and I know the people up all night worrying about me and trying to find me. I know that. And I'm extremely grateful, and I'm extremely embarrassed that I've put people to so much trouble. And I do feel embarrassed. I do feel ashamed, really, that my head just got the better of me. So, anyway, at the end of the video, please try and help one another. Please try and look after one another. And just be kind. Just be kind. Because nobody knows what demons or issues that person is facing that you may not be aware of, know of. And just the wrong thing can trip that person over the edge. So let's all be kind. Let's all help each other, and thank you for watching.